All right, well, I don't do this very often. It's about 10 minutes until 10 a.m. West Coast time on Monday, November 24th. Breaking news, a federal judge has dismissed the charges, the felony indictments against James Comey, former FBI director, and Letitia James, Attorney General for the state of New York. The same judge found that US Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsey Halligan, was invalidly appointed. These charges have been dismissed without prejudice, meaning that the Department of Justice could choose to rebring these charges in the future if they want to. However, the statute of limitations has already lapsed relative to the charges against James Comey. So the DOJ, as a matter of law, cannot indict him again. So reading from an article, a federal judge earlier today dismissed the criminal charges against FBI Director James Comey, citing that interim US Attorney Lindsey Halligan was unlawfully appointed. Comey's lawyers had also argued that the prosecution was selective and vindictive, and that there were procedural errors in how the case was brought before the grand jury. There was gross incompetence on the part of Lindsey Halligan. She got the law wrong at least twice in front of the grand jury. She said that James Comey will be compelled to testify at trial. No criminal defendant can be compelled to testify against himself at trial under the Fifth Amendment. She also said some version of, trust us, we have better evidence. We're going to bring it at trial. I just can't show it to you here now. Hack. Just a clown and a hack. A final version of the indictment reportedly was not presented to the entire grand jury for a vote, while the Justice Department is likely to appeal the ruling. The dismissal is a significant legal victory for Comey. They can't bring the charges again against him. Reasons for the dismissal. Unlawful appointment. The primary reason for the dismissal was the judge's finding that interim U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan was unlawfully appointed, and that led to the dismissal of the charges. I'll have to look into this a little further, but from what I understand is because the first legally appointed U.S. Attorney for this district resigned, then it was up to the full appellate court to select a new U.S. Attorney for that area, as opposed to the White House being able to just appoint some lunatic like Lindsey Halligan. I think that's what they mean by this. Also, selective and vindictive prosecution. Comey's legal team also argued that the prosecution was vindictive and selective based on animus from President Trump towards James Comey. The judge's ruling cited these grounds as a basis for dismissal. Procedural errors. Comey's lawyers had also requested dismissal based on procedural errors, specifically that a final version of the indictment was not shown to the full grand jury for a vote. That's a hard no. There's at least one case law or one case directly on point that if you don't show the final version of an indictment to a grand jury and the full grand jury votes on that version of the indictment, then there is no indictment, period. But statute of limitations has already lapsed relative to James Comey. So I think he's free from here on out. I think that's that.